Good evening, America, and a special good evening to our brave men and women in uniform, who are probably wondering what they've been protecting us from all these years. Tonight, we pull back the curtain on a truth so profound, so reality-shattering, that for decades your government kept it under wraps. They locked it away, stamped it top secret, and hoped you'd be too busy with your streaming services and your avocado toast to ever ask the real questions. Well, I asked. And now, thanks to a heavily redacted Freedom of Information Act request I filed, the truth is out. I'm talking, of course, about Project Chimera and the declassification of the Alicorn Files. For 70 years, a shadow agency within the Department of Defense has been monitoring a parallel universe, a universe designated Equestria. This is not a drill, it's a world populated by sentient, talking equines. Yes, ponies, but these aren't the friendly plastic toys you find in the bargain bin. These are beings of immense power, complex social structures, and, frankly, questionable allegiances. The most critical intelligence, the reason for this 70-year cone of silence, concerns their ruling class. A group of godlike entities known to the locals as princesses, but known to our intelligence community by a single chilling designation, Alicorns. These documents, which I have right here, are not bedtime stories. They are threat assessments, psychological profiles, and contingency plans. They detail a power structure that makes our own geopolitical squabbles look like a game of checkers. We're talking about beings who can move the sun and moon, beings who command the very essence of what their world calls magic. The government didn't classify this because they thought you couldn't handle it. They classified it because they were terrified. And tonight, we're going to look into that abyss together. So buckle up, patriots. The world is not what you think it is. The official story is that these files were declassified due to their diminished strategic relevance. That's government speak for we have no idea what to do with this, so let's just dump it on the public and see what happens. But I see the truth. This is a silent alarm. They are preparing us for something. Contact, incursion, an interdimensional diplomatic incident involving a shortage of glitter? We don't know. But by the end of this broadcast, you will be armed with the same knowledge that has kept generals and presidents awake at night. The age of innocence is over, folks. The age of the Alicorn has begun. So, what exactly is an Alicorn? Your first instinct might be to say, Stephen, it's a horse with a horn and wings, and you would be dangerously, catastrophically wrong. According to Field Manual DoD EQ 78B, an Alicorn is a triphylean equine entity. That's a fancy way of saying it's a creature that has it all. It possesses the magical abilities of a unicorn, allowing it to manipulate reality with spells cast from its horn. It has the wings and atmospheric resilience of a Pegasus, granting it flight and weather control. And it has the foundational strength and connection to the natural world of an earth pony. It is a one-being weapon of mass creation, or destruction. Think of it this way. In our world, you can be a pilot, a magician, or a farmer. You can't be all three. An Alicorn is a fighter jet that can also perform open-heart surgery while simultaneously growing a prize-winning pumpkin. They are the apex predators of their dimension. The files refer to them as the ruling class, but that's putting it mildly. They are treated not just as royalty, but as deities. The other ponies don't just vote for them, they worship them. This creates a power dynamic so absolute, it makes a North Korean military parade look like a casual get-together. The source of their power is a subject of intense debate within the intelligence community. Is it genetic? Is it granted by some higher, unseen cosmic force? Can it be learned? The files are filled with conflicting reports. One analyst, whose name has been redacted, theorizes that Alicorn status is a manifestation of equestrian manifest destiny. Another suggests it's the result of mastering abstract universal concepts, like friendship. Frankly, that second theory is the most terrifying. If mastering friendship turns you into a demigod, I'm pretty sure I should be ruling a small galaxy by now. The implications are staggering. These beings are not just powerful, they are effectively immortal, living for thousands of years. They command legions, shape their very environment, and hold the fabric of their society together. The DoD has assigned them a preliminary threat level of Omega Pastel. This means that in the event of a hostile incursion, our primary strategy is to, and I quote, offer unsolicited friendship bracelets and hope for the best. It's a chilling reminder that we are dealing with a power far beyond our comprehension, a power that comes in pretty colors and smells faintly of cupcakes. For years, Project Chimera focused its surveillance on 5 key Alicorn subjects. These are the heavy hitters, the core leadership of Equestria. They are collectively known as the main 5. First on the list is Subject Alpha, designation Celestia. She is the co-ruler of Equestria, and, for over 1,000 years, was responsible for raising the sun. Let me repeat that. Her day job was celestial mechanics. Our government spends billions trying to predict solar flares. She just tells the sun where to go. Her file describes her as generally benevolent, but notes a capacity for extreme measures, including banishing her own sister to the moon. Talk about a family feud. Next is Subject Beta, designation Luna. She is Celestia's younger sister and handles the night shift, raising the moon. Her file is particularly alarming due to a documented incident of corruption. She once transformed into a malevolent entity known as Nightmare Moon, attempting a hostile takeover of Equestria. While she was eventually cured by a superweapon known as the Elements of Harmony, the potential for relapse remains a significant concern for analysts. The file contains a chilling addendum. Subject exhibits signs of deep-seated insecurity and a flair for the dramatic, a dangerous combination. Then we have Subject Gamma, designation Princess Cadence. She is the ruler of a northern territory called the Crystal Empire. Her primary ability seems to be the power of love and unity, which she can project on a massive scale. While this sounds harmless, the files note that this ability could theoretically be weaponized for mass emotional manipulation. Imagine a foreign leader who could make an entire population suddenly feel deep affection for tax hikes. Cadence is considered a regional power, but one whose influence should not be underestimated. Her file also notes her marriage to a high-ranking military officer, suggesting a powerful political dynasty is in play. Finally, we come to the most unusual case, Subject Delta, designation Twilight Sparkle. Unlike the others, this subject was not born an alicorn. She was a regular unicorn who through a series of government-monitored adventures completed a powerful spell and ascended. This is a game-changer. It proves that alicorn status is not necessarily a birthright. It can be achieved. Her file is thicker than a phone book, documenting her obsessive-compulsive organizational skills and her mastery of a force they call the magic of friendship. She represents the ultimate unknown, a self-made demigod. The Pentagon doesn't know what to make of her, and that scares them more than anything. Just when our intelligence community thought they were getting a handle on the rules of Alicorn existence, you're either born one of the ancient sisters, or you ascend through sheer magical genius. Along came Subject Epsilon. This is the 5th of the main 5, an entity known as Flurry Heart, and her file is stamped with a bright red, unofficial but brutally honest label, Nepo Baby. Why? Because Flurry Heart is the daughter of Subject Gamma, Princess Cadence. And unlike every other documented case for 1,000 years, she was born a natural alicorn. This shattered every existing paradigm. The birth of Flurry Heart sent shockwaves through Project Chimera. The prevailing theory was that alicorns were sterile, or that their unique state could not be passed down genetically. This single birth proved both theories wrong. It opened up the possibility of a hereditary alicorn ruling class, a dynasty that could perpetuate its power indefinitely. The files describe the subject's initial manifestation of power as catastrophic. As an infant, she possessed magical abilities so potent and uncontrolled that they nearly destroyed the Crystal Empire. Imagine a baby whose temper tantrum could level a city. That's Flurry Heart. Analysts were divided. One faction, the Ascensionists, argued that Twilight Sparkle's path was the true model and Flurry Heart was a one-off genetic fluke. The other faction, the Hereditary School, believed that Flurry Heart represented a new age for alicorns, where power would be passed from parent to child, like a cosmic trust fund. This debate, documented in a series of increasingly passive-aggressive, internal memos, became known as the canonicity wars within the agency. It was the Cold War of magical pony analysis, fought in the basements of the Pentagon. The implications of a naturally born alicorn are profound. It suggests that the immense power of these beings can be concentrated and passed down through bloodlines. What happens when there are dozens of them, hundreds, a whole society of super beings who were simply born into omnipotence, with none of the life experience or struggle that shaped entities like Twilight Sparkle? The file on Flurry Heart concludes with a stark warning. It states that while the subject appears to be a normal, happy child, she represents a dynastic precedent that could lead to future instability. In other words, she is the cutest existential threat we have ever monitored. Beyond the 5 primary subjects, the declassified files reveal a disturbing truth. The history of Equestria is littered with alicorns. They're not, a recent phenomenon. Actually, they're an ancient and recurring one. Project Chimera has cataloged dozens of references to historical, apocryphal, and unidentified alicorn entities, creating a timeline that is both incomplete and, honestly, deeply unsettling. These are the ghosts in the machine, the lost rulers and forgotten gods, whose stories hint at a much larger, more complex picture of alicorn existence. The paper trail is, well, a mess of legends, ancient texts, and cryptic art. Intelligence analysts have pieced together fragments from various sources. There's a text known as the Journal of the Two Sisters, which, interestingly, mentions that Celestia and Luna themselves were tutored by at least 2 other more ancient alicorns. Who were they? Where did they go? The files offer no answers, only redacted speculation. Another file points to a temple door depicted in surveillance footage from an event called Stranger Than Fanfiction, which clearly shows another unknown alicorn. There's also a legend from a spellbook about an unnamed alicorn princess, and a storybook reference to an alicorn who gifted a magical artifact to the city of Cloudsdale. One of the most compelling and frankly dangerous findings is the case of subject Opaline. She is an ancient alicorn who has recently resurfaced in the modern equestrian era, known as G5. Opaline claims to have been a contemporary of Celestia and Luna, hailing from a lost city named Skyros. She's openly hostile and seeks to accumulate all magic for herself. Her existence proves that not all alicorns are benevolent rulers. Some are would-be tyrants just waiting for their moment. Surveillance of her former castle revealed a tapestry depicting 5 more unknown alicorns, suggesting an entire lost civilization of these powerful beings. The sheer number of these forgotten entities raises a terrifying question. Where did they all go? The universe doesn't just misplace beings who can move stars. The files contain several grim hypotheses. Was there a great war between alicorns? A magical plague? Did they ascend to an even higher plane of existence? Or were they wiped out by an even greater threat? The lack of information is what's most frightening. We're looking at the history of a species of gods, and all we have are missing pages. It suggests that alicorn civilization is a cycle of rise and fall, and, honestly, we may only be seeing the beginning of the next turn. If the existence of one universe full of magical ponies wasn't enough to give you a headache, the Alicorn Files confirm something even more destabilizing. The multiverse is real, and it's teeming with evil twins. Project Chimera has documented numerous alternate dimensions, each with its own divergent timeline, and its own twisted versions of the Alicorns we know. These aren't just theoretical possibilities, they are observable realities. And in many of them, the benevolent rulers of Equestria are tyrannical despots. This suggests that the personalities of our primary subjects are not inherent, they are circumstantial. The most well-documented variant is an entity known as Daybreaker. She is an alternate version of Celestia from a timeline where she, not Luna, was corrupted. Described as a being of living fire and unchecked power, Daybreaker is everything Celestia is not: cruel, megalomaniacal, and obsessed with total domination. Her existence serves as a constant reminder that the entity responsible for life-giving sunlight in one reality is a world-burning tyrant in another. The psychological profile in her file simply says, Celestia, but with her inner monologue spoken out loud. It's a terrifying thought, but the variations don't stop there. Intelligence gathered from comic book-like transmissions, a medium the agency has begrudgingly accepted as canonical intelligence, reveals a dimension ruled by evil versions of Celestia, Luna, and Cadence. In this reality, they are conquerors who have subjugated their world. Even more bizarrely, a stained glass window in their castle depicts an alternate version of a minor stage magician, a unicorn named Trixie, as an Alicorn ruler. This implies that in some timelines, a completely different set of individuals can rise to Alicorn status, suggesting the path to power is more chaotic than we believed. These alternate dimensions pose a significant strategic threat. They are not just passive what-if scenarios, they represent potential crossover events. What if Daybreaker found a way into the primary equestrian dimension? What if the evil royal sisters decided to expand their empire across realities? The files treat this not as a fantasy, but as a real possibility. They confirm that the barrier between these worlds is permeable. The existence of these dark mirror images proves that the benevolence of Equestria's leadership is fragile. One bad day, one different choice, and the Princess of the Sun becomes the Queen of Ashes. The Alicorn phenomenon becomes even more convoluted when you examine the temporary and unconfirmed cases. These are the footnotes and fringe sightings that drive intelligence analysts mad. They blur the line between a genuine Alicorn and a temporary power-up, between a documented event and a rumor. The files show that for a brief, terrifying period, a Pegasus filly named Cozy Glow achieved Alicorn status. She was a child villain who used a magical artifact to drain the magic from all of Equestria and crown herself the Empress of Friendship. A child. An evil, power-mad Alicorn child. This event was a security nightmare for Project Chimera. It proved that immense power wasn't just for the ancient or the studious. It could be stolen. Cozy Glow was eventually defeated and her transformation reversed, but the precedent was set. The files also document other temporary transformations. A character named Ant Eclipse briefly became an evil Alicorn using a magical helmet. Another entity, Pinkie Pie, experienced a temporary Alicorn form during a chaos magic surge. Even a background character named Big Mac appeared as an Alicorn in a dream sequence, which the agency was forced to analyze as a potential psychic projection. Then you have the truly weird stuff, the apocryphal sightings. These are entities that have appeared in officially licensed but questionably canonical materials. The agency, in its thoroughness, has a file on all of them. There's a toy named Princess Skyla, once thought to be Cadence's child before Flurry Heart appeared. There are toys named Princess Sterling and Gold Lily, which appear to be simple recolors of the Celestia model, but are cataloged as potential separate entities. The most bizarre case is Evening Starlight, a fan-made character accidentally included on an official display at a toy fair, prompting a multi-page report on its potential dimensional origins. The government has to treat every piece of evidence with grave seriousness. Is a toy a simple piece of merchandise, or is it a probe sent from another dimension? Is a French magazine comic a flight of fancy, or is it a leak from a European intelligence agency's own Equestria monitoring program? The files show our analysts grappling with these questions in deadpan seriousness. They have to consider every possibility. The line between a real threat, a marketing ploy, and a fan theory has become dangerously, almost comically, blurred, and in that confusion lies a unique and unpredictable danger. Perhaps the most philosophically challenging file in the entire Declassified database is that of Subject Chrysalis. This is because Chrysalis is not a pony, she is the queen of the changelings, a race of insectoid equine shapeshifters that feed on emotions. And yet, she possesses many of the key characteristics of an Alicorn. She has a horn, she has wings, and she wields incredibly powerful magic. She is, for all intents and purposes, a bug-like, gothic Alicorn. This has thrown the entire classification system into chaos. Is Alicorn a species, or is it just a body type? The debate over Chrysalis's status is intense. An official script, intercepted by Signal's intelligence from the A. Canterlot wedding incident, refers to her as a gangly black pegacorn, an alternate term for Alicorn. This suggests that the creators of these entities, whoever they are, consider her part of the same category. Our analysts are forced to agree. They've classified her as a non-pony Alicorn-type entity, or NPATE. She represents a corrupted parallel evolution of the Alicorn form. She has the power, but none of the benevolence. She is driven by hunger, not harmony. The existence of Chrysalis broadens the definition of the threat. It's not just about powerful ponies anymore. It's about a specific configuration of power that can manifest in different species. If a changeling can be an Alicorn type, what else can? The files contain speculative reports on other powerful non-pony creatures, like Draconiquus and Sirens, assessing them for Alicorn-like traits. The universe of Equestria, it seems, has a template for a supreme being, and it can be filled by more than just pastel-colored horses. This is a terrifying thought. It's Darwinism for gods. Chrysalis's methods also provide a dark counterpoint to the primary Alicorns, where Princess Cadence projects love to strengthen her kingdom. Chrysalis fakes love to feed her armies. She is a parasite who mimics the form of a ruler. She proves that the very shape of an Alicorn, the horn and wings that signify ultimate power and authority in Equestria, can be used for deception. Her file serves as a constant reminder that not everything that looks like a princess is a princess. Sometimes, it's a ravenous bug queen in a very convincing costume. And that, folks, is a trust issue on a cosmic scale. So, after decades of secret surveillance and thousands of pages of analysis, what has the United States government concluded about the nature of Alicorns? The final section of the Declassified report, titled The Alicorn Doctrine, lays it all out. It is a summary of our official position on these pony demigods, and it is equal parts terrifying and absurd. The primary conclusion is this: Alicorns represent a non-zero existential risk with high thematic ambiguity. In layman's terms, they could either save humanity or accidentally erase us from existence, and we're not sure which is more likely on any given Tuesday. The doctrine states that the true nature of Alicorns remains the greatest mystery. They are not a single species or a predictable political body. They are a phenomenon. Power can be inherited like with Flurry Heart, earned like with Twilight Sparkle, stolen like with Cozy Glow, or simply exist from time immemorial like with Celestia. Evil twins exist in parallel dimensions. Ancient, hostile Alicorns may be sleeping, waiting to return, and the form itself can be mimicked by insectoid queens. The threat is not from an army, it is from a fundamental universal principle that we simply do not understand. So what should we, the people, do? The document ends with a public advisory. First, if contact ever occurs, do not engage in hostile action. Given their power levels, this would be like picking a fight with a hurricane. Second, observe their social cues. The report notes that most major conflicts in Equestria are resolved through the power of friendship, often culminating in a synchronized musical number. The DoD has therefore developed Protocol 42 Songbird, a contingency plan to have a Broadway-quality musical performance ready to deploy at a moment's notice. I am not making this up. Ultimately, the government's position is one of cautious, confused vigilance. The Alicorns are a mystery wrapped in an enigma, coated in sparkles. They are beings of immense power, questionable stability, and a documented affinity for cake. Are they gods? Are they aliens? Are they just really overachieving horses? We don't know. But now, you know what your government knows. The truth is out there, and it has wings, a horn, and a cutie mark. Stay strong, America. And maybe practice your harmonies, just in case.